Hey guys, it's Brady. Welcome to my recap race video. I'm always a little extra when it comes to videos since I own a video business, and I'm not really a really good writer. In fact, my wife have to edit most of my posts because I leave out words. And so what I decided to do was to make a recap video. My coach, Charles, who you hear about later, he really recommended after the race to kind of journal, write down everything that happens in a big race like this so you don't forget and you can always go back and look. Let's start with the why. Why did I do an Ironman race when I said to everybody I thought this was stupid and I'll never do one? I used to make fun of my friends who did them, and then I wound up doing it. So why did I do it? Well, in 2019 in January, it just so happens that I have the video of it because during that time I was doing a 30-day video challenge where I had to make a vlog every day. And my wife and my best friend Jen, they ran the Louisiana half marathon, and they were talking about how big of a deal it was. And of course, after the race, I was talking to them on the way home, like, it's not that big of a deal. I could go do that. And Jen and Kayla both challenged me that I couldn't even run 3 miles. And I was like, heck yeah, I can. I'm in good shape. Well, that next day, that day when we got home, I went and tried to run, and I couldn't even run 1 mile without stopping. Mile 1, I'm gonna start a stopwatch so we can tell how fast we're going. I got the boys with me. Let's get it. So they're still back there, running away. That was 1 mile in, oh Lord, 9:24:46. I am so out of shape. So no, I couldn't run 13.1 miles right now. And that kind of motivated me to get back in shape. And then I started training with my wife when she was training for a half Ironman. I'm a 70.3. And then I fell in love with it. And the rest is history. I've done Galveston 70.3. I did Daytona 70.3. And I told myself if I got through Daytona, which was December 3rd or 4th, if I really killed my nutrition and I did well in that race with no injuries, I would sign up for a full Ironman, because 2 of my friends who I was training with, I'm going to call you out by name because I love you and I want to do that. Justin Babineau and Jenny Finch-Daigle. They said if we did Daytona injury-free, we would all sign up for Ironman Texas, and I signed up, and them 2 didn't. They did not sign up, so I was a lone wolf with this little training group, and then 2 of my other friends, Logan Trim and Jeremy Newman, wound up signing up, so it was kind of the 3 amigos training and going through it. So that's why I decided to do Ironman Texas. What Ironman is, if you don't know, it's a 2.4-mile swim, 112 miles on the bike, and then a marathon, 26.2 miles. I've never ran a marathon before, by the way. The longest runs I've ever ran before this past Saturday was 18 miles. I've been training since the end of Houston half marathon, which was January. I started training for this race in particular. And I will say this, I need to first thank my family. These long training blocks, it's not so much the race of Ironman, it's the training leading up to it. I mean, for 3 months, you are literally training anywhere from 8 to 17 hours a week sometimes. Saturdays consist of 6-hour bike rides, 5-mile runs. You're too beat to do anything else. So my family, my wife, Kayla, my kids, Brecken and Briggs, they put up with a lot. The last 3 weeks I was very irritable, not probably very nice to be around because my body was exhausted, tired. So that's how training went. Injuries, of course, I T-band. I have a herniated disc. I should have got a shot 3 months ago. I didn't. Back issues, the herniated disc. I need to thank my 2 friends, chiropractor Jarrett Lee. Grew up with Jarrett, and he helped me a lot with some decompression on my back. And then the week of, my back locked up on Monday, could barely walk. That was Monday before the race. Mitch Bowers got me into some physical therapy. He needled. I think he enjoyed seeing me scream and cry on the table. Here's a picture of Mitch needling me right there. And I'm glad I didn't have videos because I was screaming and using my Christian cuss words. At the race, we went on Thursday. You have to check in, and athlete check-in. I got to meet some pros, Joe Skipper from Great Britain, Matt Hansen, Rudy Vonberg, who later on to win the pro race. I love meeting those guys because this is unlike other sports where I can't go compete with, Aaron Judge or Alex Bregman at a baseball tournament. We're doing the same race as these pros who train, 40 hours a week. And so they have to go through the same process that we have to go through. And that's really cool to meet those guys. And they're always so gracious to take pictures. Bike check-in was the next day. My coach Charles did not let me carry anything. He wouldn't even let me touch my bike. He did it all for me. And then once I got in transition, I thought maybe the nerves will start hitting because you have to put your bike in the day before, and no nerves were hitting at all. That kind of made me nervous. That night at dinner, I asked Charles, my coach, I said, hey, should I be nervous that I'm not nervous? He said, no, you're just trusting the training. I normally get pretty nervous, even when I was rodeoing or a golf tournament. I remember my first golf tournament, I couldn't even put the ball in the tee because I was shaking so bad. I can honestly say this is the first race I had no nerves. I just, in my mind, kept saying this is a long training day. It's a 2.4 mile swim. I got this. I've done that before. Not in the open water, but still mindset. And then the bike was just a long bike ride with a bunch of friends because I did all my bike rides either by myself inside or on the road by myself for 6 hours. And so I was like, at least I'm going to have people to watch and look at and maybe talk to every now and then. So that was my mindset. So I had no nerves. Woke up that morning at 2:30 and had to stretch because transition opens at 5. We had to leave the hotel at 4:30. I needed about 2 hours to get my back stretched out so I could at least race that day. We wake up, get ready to do all that, eat some bagels. And then at 4:30, we're going to leave, and my wife turns around, and she has this shirt that she made, and it said BC Power. It's a little inside joke. Whenever I was a kid, BC Powder was a thing. They had the commercial, the power of BC. And so that's kind of like BC Power. I think that was even an email address I had back in the day. And so it's a joke because I tell everybody, if you want a discount at the bike shop at Southern Bike, just go in and say BC Power. It may be a real code. I think it is. Maybe. Wink, wink. Use the code and maybe get 10% off of something. Just say you know me. So it was kind of funny to see BC Power with the M.Dot logo. And then I thought it was only her that was going to have it. And then my coach showed up with that shirt too. And then everybody who came and watched me, which I'll talk about in a little bit, had that shirt on. And so that was a huge surprise, the BC Power t-shirts. The swim, so when the gun went off I'm waiting there. The cannon goes off at 6:25 for the pro men and 6:30 for the pro women and 6:40 for the age groupers. And I was relaxed. I felt good. I was by myself. I got to the front. I knew I wanted to swim anywhere from 111 to 120. So I seated myself right there. I get in the water and I breathe to my right, and that's where all the spectators are. And it just so happens I see Kayla right there with the BC Power shirt. And I was able to stop and actually wave at her during my swim. Again, the swim was great. I had to stop 4 times to clear my goggles because they got a little foggy. The sun was in your eyes. I actually swam an extra 150 yards because I couldn't see where I was going. I hit some canoes every now and then, and they're like, hey, this way. So I did it in 112, which was about 143 per 100 yards, I think, 151 per 100 meters. Great swim from a guy who used to panic in the water. I loved the swim. I thought it was really fun, really easy. Got it into transition. You lay down, they take your wetsuit off of you, and then you can run into the changing tent. So you grab your change bag, your bike bag, go into the changing tent, and it's like a male locker room. And not everybody covered up with towels, let's just say that. And so you get dried off as fast as you can, put your bike stuff on, sunscreen, bike helmet, bike shoes, go grab your bike.
Hey! Is your back okay?
Hey. You good? Awesome. Get ready.
Ready, 113.
Love you.
Love you.
112 miles the first 20. You're going through neighborhoods to get to the Hardy Toll Road. Then you go all the way down Hardy Toll Road, 20 miles, turn back 20 miles, then turn around 20 miles, and then back 20 miles, and then 12 miles back, and that's your 112. And it was southeast wind at like 14 miles per hour. I swear it was 20 going south. The first loop, I averaged around 18 miles an hour going south. On the way back, averaged about 23, 24 miles per hour because I had a tailwind, turned around, the wind picked up. I think I averaged 16 going out again, and then coming back, it was like 24, 25. Smooth bike ride, no issues. I did stop twice to stretch my back at an aid station at mile 40 and mile 80. Back in, I was coming into transition, and I heard someone yell my name, and I saw the shirt, and it was the BC Power shirt, and that's when I saw Adam Grimiol, and I had no idea that they were coming. My wife convinced me that 3 people were coming to watch me, and I didn't know that there was going to be 30 people there to support me, and I needed every single one of those. Adam was there, and he yells, "Go BC, you got it!" And I was like, "Oh my God, where did you come from?" Well, at that moment, it was time for me to dismount, so I got my feet out of my shoes, and I like to do a flying dismount. Daytona, I did a flying dismount, Galveston flying dismount. Being an old goat tire calf roper, used to get off the horse going fast. I love doing that. I never did it after a 112-mile bike, so when I flip my leg over and I'm still going, my left quad just cramps. I'm like, if I fall in front of all these people, but I didn't. I got off. I saw Kayla and my friend Jen, my best friend Jen, who one of the reasons why I did this stupid race. And they're there, gave Kayla a sloppy kiss because I'm all sweaty. And they take my bike and I go get my run bag and coming in. And Kayla's like, "How you feel?" Immediately the calf cramps were starting, but I was like, "I got this. It's only 26 miles. You can do this." Come out, transition, talk to Kayla, take off running. There's my support crew again. There's some people I'll name in a little bit, but they're giving me high fives. Everything felt good. The goal was 8:45 to 9:30 pace for the first loop, which was 8.4 miles, 8.3 miles. And I was like, okay, I can do that. I was actually doing well at like 9:13, 9:11. Then about mile 6, mile 7, my first true I may be in trouble, which was a huge calf cramp in both calves. Every time I would step, it was cramp. And I didn't know how to get over it. I didn't know, did I take too much sodium? Am I taking too little sodium? I didn't know what was going on. And so I would try to walk, run. And of course, everybody's yelling, "Just go." And I'm like, I physically, my legs won't let me. Then the hamstring cramp started. Mile 8, I got really nauseous, kind of threw up a little inside of the grass on the walking path, and then had to take a bathroom break because all you're taking all day is liquid and doesn't really sit right. It's either coming up or down. So I took a bathroom break. If you were tracking me and you saw a 17-minute mile, that's not true. 8 minutes of that was actually in a porta potty. And when it was hot, and I'm like, God, if I pass out in here, that's going to be really, really embarrassing. But got back on the run, and miles 11, 12, 13, kind of don't remember much of them. I was just like, just walk when you run when you can. When the calf cramps start, stop. Don't stop, but just walk. So I had to do that all the way. Then mile 20, my coach pulls up and he FaceTimes Kayla for me because apparently my tracker went off and everybody was worried that, I got hurt or got pulled out for some reason. And so that kind of gave me a little motivation to keep going because I was on my last lap and I knew I only had, 8 miles left to go, 6 miles left to go or whatever. And then, of course, I started talking crap to Charles because he was annoying me at that time saying, "You could do it," and all that. And like, "You're doing well." And in my head, I wasn't doing well. And so I'm like, "God, I love you, Charles, but I want to punch you in the face."
I'm going to smoke you in Houston. Let's get ready.
You actually got a really good pace right now. Sorry this video isn't that great. Oh my goodness. Almost took out a pile of ducks. Brady Cannon making his way.
Making my way downtown.
Oh man, he's even singing.
I feel better now on mile 23 than I do on mile 6.
And so we started making jokes, which helped my mind. Next thing you know, the calf cramps went away. And mile 21 through 26, I didn't walk much except some uphills. And my last 2 miles, I think I did an 8:45, 9-minute pace the last 2 miles. So I felt better in miles 21 through 26 than I did in the first lap, and was crazy because my body's never experienced that. So that was really good. I got a lot of people to thank. Number one, my bike was awesome because Charles at the bike shop and all the guys who helped me at the bike shop running tubeless setup. If you know anything about bikes, tubeless tires, I could run at 60 PSI, which made the roads a lot smoother. Those disc wheels and the 808 zip on the front were just really fast. Charles spent time waxing the chain for me and putting some special fairy dust, as he calls it, to get the most watts out of the chain, and the bike felt really fast. So thank you, Southern Bike, for getting the bike ready. Athlete's Corner, the shirt, y'all popped out that shirt really fast when we got it ordered, and y'all were able to put the Max Speed logo, which is the coach, Charles Macadon, Max Speed Endurance, and able to put Athlete's Corner and Southern Bike on the back. So thank you, Athlete's Corner, John Viator, you guys are amazing. And next, I need to really thank my support crew. I actually made some notes here because I don't want to forget anybody. Mike Martinez, Lucas Holland, Josh Kober, you guys were there for 3 days with us, and all three of you are Ironmen. You've done it before, and I needed every single bit of you at different points. Lucas, the day before the race, you came into my hotel room, stretched me. I don't know. My back was in some serious trouble, and your stretching really helped get my back going. Kober, you helped my mentality, like, hey, you got this. You trained for it. Don't worry about time. Just keep going, even though we were worried about time because I had to beat Charles's 12:59, which I did, which I'll talk about the finish in a minute. And Mike, man, you've been a brother to me for so long. Man, going to church together, playing flag football together. You've always been there. So thank you so much for the encouragement on the run course, on the bike course. I mean, throughout the training, stopping by your house, taking some bike rides together. Even though you're not my coach, you're my friend and you're my wife's coach. So the finish line, as soon as I turned, and I knew I was picking it up, and I kept picking people off one by one, and I kind of knew I wasn't going to cry, but at the same time, I knew I'd be emotional. And so there I saw my brother-in-law and my sister, and that's when I started like, oh, this is really happening. I'm really doing it. And I saw Mike's wife, Tish, and daughter Tylee and Cayman right there, and that was good. Then I saw my wife, and so you have to go around and you go back around, and there was a bell there for first timers to ring, or I could give high five to my dad and my mom and all my family and support group. And I chose not to ring the bell. I was going to go give high fives. Of course, they called me by the wrong name. My entire life, people either call me Bradley or Brandy. And of course, they call me Bradley, and then they correct it later once I actually crossed the finish line.
And Nick Caraway, you You are an Ironman, Bradley. Brady from Sulphur, Louisiana.
But I was able to finish in 12 hours and 35 minutes. I always have a plan A. Plan A was sub 12. But once I knew the calf cramps, I knew sub 12 was out. Then it was like, okay, I want to go at least under 12:59 because that was my coach's time and I wanted to beat him. And so that was the second plan, and I was able to do that at 12:35. Crossing the finish line and just seeing all my friends there, and I'm going to name them. So Mike and Lucas and Josh Kober, of course, I already mentioned y'all, but Adam and Jamie Grimion, Felix and Lyric Wilson, Caitlin and Garrett LaFleur, Brad and Christy Martin, and Mila, she was there too. Lori and Jody, our lead pastors. Rick and Tracy. Rick was my youth pastor, and he used to do this. I used to make fun of him for doing it. They were there. Mike's wife, Tish, and Cayman and Tylee, they were there. And then my family, my mother-in-law, Jenna, my father-in-law, Kenny, they were there. My Aunt Jim, who lives in Conroe, came to watch. My sister, Leanne, my brother-in-law, Jeremy, my niece, Adeline, my nephew, my other niece, they weren't there. So shame on you guys. Can't believe you missed it. And then my mom and dad were at a spot in the race where I need them because all the support crew was in this one spot by Landry's, and my mom and dad were kind of by themselves, and they were right where I needed them to be. And my dad ran with me for a little bit.
Let's go. You got this. There's no quitting cannon.
Just encouraged me, so that was really good. And then Brecken and Briggs, they were there. My kids high-fiving me. They were part of the reasons why I could not give up, even though I was feeling not too good. And then Charles, my coach, he was right where I needed him to be when I needed him to be there with the words, encouragement, everything that I needed in that day. From riding, I think he probably rode 25 miles on his bike, just trying to catch me and give me the words I needed, and just making jokes with me as I'm running, doing little punching things with me. Dun, 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 dun. Great coach, very knowledgeable, and willing to do anything to help his athletes. So thank you so much, Charles, for that. And then last but not least is my wife, Kayla. She's had to put up with a lot, even though it's her fault. I started doing this. She got me into the sport. But whenever I said yes to doing this, she said, okay, let's go. And it was always a team thing. She would take care of the house, take care of the kids while I was training or needed some rest or whining and complaining and crying about my back or sore muscles. And she would always use the Theragun or give me a massage. And so I didn't cross the finish line. A whole team of people crossed the finish line with me. The church staff, they allowed me, even during our women's conference, to take a day off to go train the day before the conference because they knew how important this was to me. And so anyway, lots of thank yous, and I could not truly do this without the support crew. I've never been the one that was like, oh, I feel so loved, but I've never felt more loved and cherished than I did crossing that finish line, seeing everybody there with the BC Power shirt. So thank you, thank you, thank you. What's next? I got a shot next week for my back, and then we're going to see how that goes. And then I want to do another one, just not right now, maybe after the kids graduate, because I really want to go to sub 12, but thinking about doing North Carolina in October, 70.3. I think I'm going to do some of those. And then maybe Houston Marathon in January, and then some little sprints here and there throughout the year. So I know it's a long video, but this is mostly for me, not for you. So I can look back later at this and remember at Ironman Texas 2023. So thanks for following along the journey. Am I getting a tattoo? An Ironman M. tattoo? You have to wait and see. Maybe I'll reveal it on a YouTube video. Maybe if I get one. But what if I cry? I never got a tattoo before. I never thought I would like anything enough to actually print it on my body. But maybe this is the time, and maybe I will make a YouTube reveal if I get an M. tattoo. But again, thanks for watching and supporting and praying in everything that you guys do for me. So see you on the next one.
Let's go, Brady! Come on, Brady!
But why do you feel like you need to walk down the stairs with me? Brady, you're ridiculous.